Greetings, Jelly Spoons! Welcome back to another Monday Madness. This one is going to be Critical Role themed. I'm going to be talking about sort of beginner's tips, what to expect, and questions you can answer if you are just getting into Critical Role. As usual, if you would like to support this chaos, then you can head over to my Patreon, where it starts at $3 a month. You can support me, get behind the scenes looks at everything that I'm doing, come and join me on my Discord, chat to me about various things, vote in polls, etc, etc, give me ideas on what to do. If you don't want to do that, or you can't commit to a monthly thing, I am a big commitment, that is fine, then you can toddle over to my Ko-fi page, where you can support me as and when you would like to, and you can also find my commissions page on my Ko-fi. You can get a personalised in-character message for yourself or for somebody else from Mollymauk Tea Leaf, Lucien the Nonagon, Kingsley Tea Leaf the Amazing Pirate, Peter Pan, and of course Puck from A Midsummer Night's Dream. If you'd like any of those, hit up my Ko-fi pages, but for now, let's get into this video. Before we get started, let me know down in the comments below, are you brand new to the Critical Role community? If so, how did you find out about Critical Role? I am genuinely interested, and more to the point, how did you find my channel? If you are not brand new to the Critical Role community, welcome! Hello! Whereabouts are you up to? Are you caught up like me? Are you a really old veteran of Critical Role who's been watching since Campaign 1? Did you join in Campaign 2, or did you just join in Campaign 3? Did you join for one-shots, that kind of thing? Let me know down in the comments below. Alrighty then, let's get into this video talking about Critical Role. So straight off the bat, I am going to terrify you with some big numbers, okay? If you want to get into Critical Role, there are currently 2 campaigns that are finished, a bunch of one-shots and extra campaigns and things like that, and Campaign 3 has just begun. Now, Campaign 1 was 114 episodes long, which doesn't sound too long when you compare it to a lot of TV shows, but bear with me. Critical Role Campaign 2 was 141 episodes long, which again, doesn't sound too bad. But what you've got to remember is the average Critical Role episode runs anywhere from 3 to 6 hours long. I'm going to average that at 4.5. So 4.5 hours worth of content over 114 episodes and 141 episodes. Well, if you want to commit yourself and watch all of Critical Role Campaigns 1 and 2, that is going to be 1,150 hours of watch time. For just Campaign 1, it's about 520, and for Campaign 2, it's about 650. These are all very rough numbers, but just to give you an idea of the commitment that you might be getting into if you decide you would like to sit down and watch all of Campaign 1 and Campaign 2. Hey, so if you've got to spare like 1,500 hours of your life, no, please don't run away. No, never mind. It is a very big commitment, but don't worry about it. You don't have to watch every single episode in one go. There's a break down the middle, so you can split it up into 2 halves, and you can listen to most episodes in podcast form as well. So you can chuck them on in the car, when you're washing up, when you're doing other things. If you're a cosplayer like me, then you need things to constantly listen to while you're making and doing stuff. Hey, 1,150 hours of podcast might just fill the time for that. So again, not to scare you or put you off, just to inform you of what you're getting into and you get into the Critical Role fandom. We have thousands of hours of content, which is great. It means there's a lot to watch and a lot to get into. But if those numbers have done nothing to dissuade you, excellent! Welcome to the Critical Role fandom. I'll see you in 1,150 hours time when you're finished. Now, going along with what I said in tip number 1, yes, there are thousands of hours of content, but you don't actually need to watch all of them. You can get into Critical Role Campaign 3 that has only just started. They're only just on episode 4 now. You can start watching that without ever having touched any of their previous content. In fact, we have welcomed quite a lot of brand new critters for this campaign. It's amazing. The thing to remember is you don't need to watch anything of Campaign 1, Campaign 2, the one-shots, none of that. You can quite happily just go into Campaign 3, or you can watch Campaign 2 if you want. Watch the whole of Campaign 2 and you don't need to have watched Campaign 1. However, you do need to remember that there will be some in-jokes, passing references, comments, plot points, and characters who may pop up that people will recognize and you won't understand. Now that's absolutely fine. You can still enjoy the show whether you watch Campaign 2 or Campaign 3 without having watched the others. You can still get through it fine, you'll still understand everything that's going on, but you won't be quite as in the know as everybody else, including the players at the table, simply because you don't have the background knowledge of everything else they've experienced. However, it's not one ongoing story. You do not need to have watched seasons 1 and 2 in order to watch season 3. So no, you don't need to watch Campaign 1 or Campaign 2 in order to enjoy and watch Campaign 3. I would recommend looking into some of the characters and stories though. You can look up the Critical Role wiki and just read about the characters and plot lines, or you can use the critical recap episodes as well. Now we're going to go all the way back to Campaign 1. The thing that you should know if you have never watched Campaign 1 is that there are some audio issues early on. Campaign 1 and even some of Campaign 2 are nowhere near as amazing in audio quality as most of Campaign 2 and especially Campaign 3. This is to be expected, it was Critical Role's first time on Twitch, of course they're going to have teething problems. What I do want to say is that the audio issues they have just a little bit at the very beginning of Campaign 1 really are not bad enough that you should skip episodes or miss it entirely. Unless of course when you listen it really just does not sit right with your brain and you cannot cope with it. By all means skip at that point. However, please don't skip just because someone's advised you to. The first few episodes of Critical Role Campaign 1 have some amazing world building and story and plot introductions. They have some wonderful character moments between each of the characters, and you just get to know them a whole lot better. By skipping that, you do lose out just a little bit, in my opinion. So unless the audio really is giving you issues to pay attention to, please try to stick with it and at least watch those episodes. You do not have to watch live or subscribe to Twitch. Now yes, a good chunk of the fun for me in watching Critical Role is watching it live, being on voice call or chat with some of my friends and discussing what's happening as it's going on. But obviously sometimes I have to work, sometimes I'm knackered or out of the country and you just can't watch it live. But this is absolutely fine. If you're subscribed on Twitch, you can catch up and watch it whenever. They also rebroadcast at specific times over the next couple of days. And of course, the whole episode comes out in its entirety on YouTube the following Monday. So don't worry, you do not have to watch live to be able to enjoy the content. It will come out later on, and there are plenty of critters who cannot or choose not to watch it as it comes out live. What I would warn you about though is spoilers. I would recommend blocking or muting several of the Critical Role hashtags and Critical Role stats and bots, that kind of thing. Even the Critical Role account itself, because sometimes they post spoilers too. So block or mute those and then unblock and mute those once you're caught up. Unless you don't mind spoilers, in which case, carry on. Do you need to know how to play Dungeons & Dragons before you settle down to watch hours and hours of content of nerdy-ass voice actors playing D&D? The short answer is no. The long answer is no! But you may learn how to play D&D simply by watching them, or at least get a few ideas as well. You don't need to understand how the game works at all. Matt is quite good at explaining it as they go through. And also, even if you don't understand how they're playing and what they're doing, what each dice roll means and the mechanics of it all, it does work just as a story to listen to as well. Now, some critters do enjoy watching it to scrutinize how they play and, well, let's face it, backseat DM a lot of the time. I ignore those ones, sorry about it. But you don't have to do that at all. You can just watch it and enjoy it as a story. That's how I watch it, and I found it's a lot more relaxing and fun than going, oh, I wouldn't have used that spell, etc, etc, etc. So no, you don't need to know how to play D&D before you start watching Critical Role, but be prepared, you may desperately want to start playing D&D once you get into watching. Much like in Fight Club, as a general rule, critters do not speak of Orion. If you want to know more information, feel free to have a look on Critical Role forums, ask a critter that you know, or just have a scroll through the Critical Role Facebook pages. Someone else has spoken about it or asked. Just know, as a first-time critter, it's a little bit of a touchy subject and it can be divisive, so be careful where you bring it up and look for more information if you'd like to know more about that. But yeah, as a general rule, we don't speak of that person anymore. This piece of advice comes directly from me and a lot of the critters that I know. Just be careful if you decide to engage in the live Twitch chat. It's not all bad, but it does move very fast and it can get very toxic very quickly. As an aside, please do not judge the entire Critical Role fan base based on the critters you find in the live chat. We're not all like some of them. But personally, I prefer to get involved in Facebook groups or Discord chats with friends and people that I trust to, you know, talk nicely as we're watching the episode. So I'm not saying don't go in the Twitch chat, just be careful if you do go in the Twitch chat. This piece of advice is coming to you because I have witnessed several conversations about this subject on Twitch chat, on Twitter, and a lot of the critters that I know just agree it's not okay. Please remember, while you're watching and engaging and enjoying Critical Role, that the genders and sexualities and personal preferences of any of the cast members and crew and anyone involved in the show are quite simply none of our business. Please just have some common courtesy. While you might be interested or curious or really want to relate to them on another level, it just isn't any of our business, and it feels very icky and wrong to start pinning labels on people when we have absolutely no idea if they're correct or not. So yeah, please avoid trying to do that. Just engage with the show and enjoy that. We don't need to comment on the cast members. Maybe you're a bit staggered and not sure where to start, and you're not sure that you really want to watch people playing Dungeons & Dragons or commit several hundred hours of your life to watching streams like that. Well, if you don't want to listen to the podcast and you don't fancy watching it like that, but you're really interested in the characters, maybe you've heard snippets of the story or seen art or seen cosplays or just been told by fanatic fans like me and you're really into it, well, there is a new show that's coming in 2022 that might be for you. The Legend of Vox Machina is an amazing animated series coming out in February the 4th, 2022, next year, and we are all amazingly excited about it. It started as a Kickstarter, which went entirely insane. A lot of critters went mad for it. It has turned into a huge, amazing process, and we are finally getting a full animated TV series of Critical Role. The characters who are going to be in the Legend of Vox Machina animated show are the characters from Vox Machina, the group in Critical Role Campaign 1. The story is going to revolve around the Briarwood arc, which was an amazing arc from Critical Role Campaign 1. Again, if you haven't watched Critical Role Campaign 1, that's fine. You can watch the Legend of Vox Machina completely blind, that's no problem. But seriously, I would recommend at least watching the Briarwood arc because it's so damn good. The critters are all really excited about it. We're hoping to bring even more people into our wonderful community through watching it. So even if you have never watched Critical Role before, if you don't fancy getting involved in the D&D content or you just don't have the time to commit, which is understandable, then hey, there is an animated TV show which will run for a reasonable number of hours as opposed to 6 hours for one episode. The dog's doing this sort of roly-poly thing where he's like lying upside down with his feet in the air and he's sort of like trying to walk on the air. Are you done? Do you want to watch Campaign 1 again? I do. Take that as a yes. He really likes grog. So whether or not you have watched any of Critical Role before, the animated series is coming out next February, and I definitely recommend checking it out. One of the best things about the Critical Role fandom for me is just how many different communities there are within it. There are critters who cosplay, there are critters making art, there are critters writing fan fiction, there are critters who do all three, and it's amazing. There are critters who write conspiracy theories, there are critters who get together to discuss episodes, there are critters who crochet little figurines of the characters, they make badges, they make dice trays, there are Etsy shop having critters. There are just so many wonderful different communities for you to discover. There are Facebook groups, there are Discord groups, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's so many different places, there's Reddit forums, there's so much content and there's so many communities for you to get to be a part of. So if you're beginning to get into the Critical Role community, whether you've seen a load of content, a little bit of content, or no content whatsoever, there is a community for you. There's always going to be a space for you and many, many more, and I speak entirely for myself here when I say I'm happy to welcome as many brand new critters as possible. Come and join me in my crazy cosplay journeys, whether you're cosplaying yourself or just want to watch me doing crazy stuff. Hey, come and join in and do that. Go make some amazing artwork or watch some people make some fantastic artwork. Go watch Twitch streams of people drawing characters and doing makeup. Join in Patreons and things like that. Follow the conspiracy theorist on Twitter. Join Reddit forums, join fan sites, whatever you want to do, however you feel comfortable. Just spread your wings and enjoy this community because for the most part, 99.9% of the time, it is an amazing, amazing community full of amazing people just waiting to welcome you in to this fantastic show and these fantastic characters and these fantastic nerdy-ass voice actors that we all absolutely adore. Alright then, Jelly Spoons, that brings me to the end of this Monday Madness, a beginner's guide and top 10 tips to getting into Critical Role. Let me know down in the comments below, are you getting into Critical Role? Are you deeply entrenched in the fandom? Have you been there since Campaign 1 like me? Did you get involved in Campaign 2, any of the one-shots? Tell me how you first got introduced to Critical Role. Have you brought anybody else in and made them into a fellow critter? Have you got any worries, questions, or concerns? Anything at all? Are you brand new to this? Anything you like, chuck them down in the comments below and I'll try to respond to as many as I can. As always, thank you so much for watching this, my wonderful Jelly Spoons. If you enjoyed it, please chuck a like on the video. If you have not subscribed to this channel, why the hell not? Go ahead and subscribe right now. I'll be back with you next Monday for another Monday Madness, of course. There will be a story time on one of the Fridays the rest of this month, and at the very end of the month, I will be showing you all my Ashton cosplay and how that has gone. Until next time, Jelly Spoons, goodbye!